Now, the fix for you people that don't want to necessarily watch the movie or do not have time to watch the movie, I'm gonna give it all to you right now so you can be good with it. All right. So it was about this young lady who basically was on top of the world in a way that you could be on top of the world but still be unhappy about being on top of the world. This was this little young lady, right? She's basically like she's given a life that she didn't really ask for, but it was a good life, so no one thinks she should complain about it, that's for sure. And the people around her, they could have been around her. Like anybody that got some money, they around you, you don't know who was who. Anyway, she had this one friend that she felt that she trusted. And what does this one friend do? Of course, she betrays her. Of course, she takes the one thing the other person that was getting close enough, or maybe not. We don't know. That was unclear. It was like she was saying that he was just there and he was just another one of the people that was going to be around for as long as she get tired of him and she was going to discard him anyway. But he discarded her first and then got with the best friend. So, any long story long, when she walks in on them while they sitting in the bathtub trying some drugs, and not just any drug. This is a new drug, right? This is a new drug that she earlier helped him steal from the drug dealers. So as she was about to take this new drug, like I said, she walks in, finds out, yo, you blah 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 blah, blah, and that goes off. And the boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, new boyfriend to her best friend, that's this guy. He he leaves the new drug just on the ground. But what he didn't know is it wasn't just a drug. This was like a highly classified experiment he didn't stole. He didn't know that. All he knew, all he thought it was a good new drug coming to the market that he stole out of the drug dealer's house. So I know I jumped back, but I'm gonna get back to it. So they argue, and she storms. She, in a fit of rage, takes the drug, thinking it's one of the old drug or whatever. She takes it, the whole thing. No one has ever done that before. Uh, she didn't know that, of course, but because she thinks she taking some other drug, she drinks the whole. What would make you do that? That's why I say it was perfect that she was a young lady. Because as an adult, this wouldn't have worked, right? This would have been like it would have been a totally different feeling. But as a teenager, you can see this happening. To some teenagers, like some teenagers, especially you're young, dumb, you feel like you got the strength of the world in your chest, and you ready to, you're just ready. You can take on the world. Anyway, she takes this drug, and of course, it's not hitting her right away, but it's hitting her right as she goes on. Somehow, the people find him at this same party. I don't know if I mentioned it was a party, but I think I did. But they find him at the party. Now she tripping balls, and one of the party goers just think that's what it is. She just tripping. She just tripping. She just bugging out because she took too much drugs. So he trying to comfort her and what have you. The guys come in, they threaten him, give him a little rough up. They don't believe he don't know what he stole. He still think he just stole some drugs, but they want it real bad. So somehow he gets away. I forget exactly how. I think she did something weird, like jumped up in the ceiling or something. Something weird. She did something weird. She evaded him and then helped him get out. So somehow they ended up on the roof. And she goes to catch him. He falls off. The girlfriend thinks she pushed him. For whatever reason this young-minded female had in her crazy head that he just put, because she didn't see her push him. That was the crazy part. She just made that up in her mind, like right on the spot. You pushed him. She didn't push him. Anyway, he laid down on. She actually went down there and tried to like resuscitate him, to get him back right, but she was interrupted. I don't actually know what she was gonna do, and she don't know what she's doing at this point. She just know things are happening. She don't even realize she just jumped off the same roof that this guy fell off of and was, basically dead from. Uh, like it's all happening fast for her, and I mean, she's sick one minute, she messed up the next minute, and yeah, I'm telling you the movie, but if you still might have to watch, but I'm telling you the movie just in case you don't have time to watch, right? So again, this is happening, and this could happen anywhere in the world. This whole story can happen anywhere in the world, right? So these people after her, so she still has to, jet off. So, and I believe at this point, one of the scientists tells her he can help her, and she goes with him. And basically, what happens is she's trying to evade the corporation that was behind the manufacturing of the drugs. But that scientist that want to help her now was working for the corporation that stole the drugs in the first place. There wasn't drugs. It was an experiment. It did experiment. They was working on an experiment. He was working on an experiment at the corporation, and he ended up taking it, and he went to try to, I guess, what did he call it? He perfected, right? He went to perfect it, and once he did, well, he didn't know he did. Let's be clear about that. He didn't know it was perfected, and we found out later. But I'll get to that. That's how we found that out later. So at this point, he just trying to get her so he can. I don't. I think at this point he told her. She told him that she drunk it all. And he like, what? Now he tripping balls. He just all over the place with it. In his mind, not he a adult, so he not, actually he composed. He's like, wow, but he composed enough to, tell her, hey, just come with me, and they being real hush hush about everything. Why she study asking, what's wrong with me though? What's wrong with me? And I think I skipped over the part that she went to the hospital. Something maybe that's where they caught up with her, but that wasn't like that's if you watching it, that part matters. But if you're not watching it, it was just filler basically. So she ended up in jail, and the guy from the corporation, they got the scientist in one cell, they got her in another cell. And they like right across from each other. Scientists play it off cool, like he don't even know it at first. And the guy comes, the head of the corporation comes in and talks to the scientists, basically like, yo, say it's evil, his partial evil spiel, because you don't know at this time if the corporation guy is really that evil, because he's trying to, and he's like a, let's see, I can't. He's like a evil, but for a good cause, but he want to get paid. one of them type of people. Like, like he come up with a cure for cancer or diabetes or whatever is a major. It could be alcoholism. You can come up with this cure, but instead of giving it to people, you want to charge people for it, right? Oh, that's what it was. I forgot to tell you the most important thing that's all through the movie. You can't breathe. You can't breathe through the whole movie. You cannot. The air is toxic. So people running around with masks the whole time. And this, whatever she took, she didn't need a mask. And they already had something out that was kind of like a inhaler to asthmatics, right? It was kind of like that, a butyrol that, asthmatics take, right? And it allowed them, it's like it allows them to breathe. It allows, I should say, us to breathe. It allowed them to breathe, right? It give them. They take these pills, though it was in pill form, which was interesting. Like it's just something that you take. It was interesting that it wasn't an inhaler. It was small pills in pill form, right? And I remember at some point they had pills for that too, to take instead of the inhalers, but I guess the inhalers, ended up being more money or something. I don't know what that was, how that actually played out, if they still have those around or not. But I remember at some point when I was younger that pills was supposed to be introduced to the market as a relief to breathing. So now we called up. There was toxic air, and she was breathing it just fine. But there was issues. She was changing. It was things happening to her, like a whole ear rotted and fell off. Right? it didn't seem to hurt at all. It's just something else grew there. Like she had a different type of deal, and she can hear just fine. Actually, she had developed what we would call super hearing. So she was hearing really well, and like she had these thorns that was coming out of her skin too, like more like claws. Yeah, claws, like big cat claws. Like at one point, she would clip it off and try to, go about her business. She had these. She couldn't explain what was going on. She just knew something was happening to her, so she kind of freaking out about that as she going along. So anyway, back to the jail cell, and the corporate guy come in, and he tell her he can help her. He appealed to um, her logical side, by with his reasoning, and he disguises his empathy. And so she doesn't mistrust him, so she goes with him. And I think as she was leaving, the scientists tell her to be careful who you trust, as a warning. And I don't know what that was really supposed to. I mean, he planted the seed, right? But it was it. This is a young lady. Like, I need help. I'm trying to get back to my life, right? So that probably just meant nothing to her at the time. But again, maybe she heard it, and nobody else did, as he said it, because maybe she whispered it, and she was the only one that heard it. Maybe that was the point of that. Anyway, so they get to the facility, and he's trying to figure out, what's going on with her and how to get. But his main objective is to get this experiment that seems to be working on her. She doesn't need, and that's what they was going for. She doesn't need breathing apparatus to be outside, and she doesn't need pills anymore. And the side effects are just side effects. She's like, hey, that's just what the cost we're gonna have to pay if we want to be able to, breathe in our own society again. So while she's being um, experimented on, it's not a brutal experiment at this time. You know, everything is kind of cool, but she wakes up as he's having a meeting with his, I want to say father or his, which was some powerful guy that put him in a position to, and they going back and forth. The pressure's on, and basically, she finds out this guy is more about this cure than anything. He can care less if she die or not. Is just that's just collateral damage in a way. She basically freaks out again, bang on the window, on the bulletproof glass or whatever, and he gasses her. Now she goes down. I don't know if this was a part of her plan. I don't know. You know, it worked, right? So the people came in to, take some more of her blood or do whatever samples they needed to do or whatever. And she basically messed them up and leaves. I mean, she breaks free. Now she rushes. At the same time, the scientists, the good scientists, people came to rescue him or them. So they keeping the good fight going, and it just happened to happen at the same time. She just freed herself, so she go get him, and basically, long story shorter, now you get, and I'm gonna leave some of the the action out of there. It's, like I said, it's not like a Marvel cinematic experience, but it's more of a storytelling experience, which is a very good story. This is why I highly recommend this. The Fix is worth watching. She finds his child rolling around, his little boy, which is a convenient throw in for the movie because it just didn't have to be there. But I'm glad it was there because it kind of added a little more depth to the climax of the movie, right? It added something, and it showed how much this guy was willing to. What's the word? He was willing to sacrifice, right? So, and you see what I mean, because she used his son as a shield, and she threatened him. Who knows if she would have hurt this boy, right? We know because we seen the movie, right? So she had no intention of hurting this boy, but he didn't know that. So he basically went for it anyway, not knowing if she was really gonna hurt him. So, but she ended up not hurting him and going about her business. And basically, her and the scientist got away with the help of his people, and he tells her to jump off this bridge, this waterfall this bridge over the waterfall, and he tells her she was gonna make it. He had crossed her DNA with a dragonfly, and she like, nah, this is more than a dragonfly. Basically, they get to that point. Nah, this is more than a dragonfly. But I don't believe he ever tells her what else was in there. That was the thing, and because he wanted to give this away, and he didn't want the corporation to charge people for it because he knew a lot of people would die in the process, right? So he wanted this to be something to save lives, and went on. So she jumps off, she gets away. Of course, they grab him, and that's where the movie ends. It doesn't. No, I misspoke. My bad. That's not where the movie ends. The movie didn't end until they reveal that someone in the movie, and I ain't gonna give it away for you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not gonna spoil that part for you. I'm just gonna say someone that you was introduced to earlier in this movie was and is the head of the resistance or movement, however you want to say that wanted to give this away free to the people. Now, as she meets this person, this is where the movie ends, if I can remember correct. Now, here's the thing. This is where you can make a fix too easy. She could have been a double agent. She could have been a triple agent. Or she could have been just a little girl at the party the whole time. So could be said for the person that she went to meet. It would have been very clever because we watched her through the movie. So we would assume, that's not possible. But if you really think about this type of movie and the depths it went to, it could be. So I left something for you, even though I basically told you about the fix. So check it out. Definitely watch this movie if you have time. If you don't, I just gave it to you. There it is. That was basically the movie. Great idea. And it might be a near future event. Sad to say. At the rate we're going now, we might. Now I should say the power seats might allow. Some scientists even say we've already passed the point of reconciliation. I should say. I don't know if we have. Some people say we may have went past this point. If we have, we're gonna have to deal with that, of course. But if we haven't, then they really need to put the pedal to the metal on getting the right information out of how we do not toxify the whole planet's environment. And this is the only reason why I can see a war. Right? If you just a country that just will not stop doing things that pollute the air, then we have no choice but to shut you down. Country to continent, we have no choice as the rest of the world. I mean, this is one thing you should be able to come together on easy. It's just, what else would make sense, right? You either taking something or you doing something that will infringe upon the lives of many, which you should not be allowed to do. I mean, this is why you have a military force in the first place. You don't want to use force. I don't want to use force. I don't want to ever see a war ever. But I don't want to live in a toxic aired planet at the same time if we can avoid it. And if that means going to war to avoid it, then so be it. All right, that's my piece. That's the fix.